So one thing a lot of people blame for the loss of Hillary Clinton to Donald Trump is third-party voters and people who didn't pick Democrat over, say, the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, or just maybe didn't vote at all, or maybe I think you could write in your vote as well. So they blame a lot of, independents and people like that who didn't vote for Clinton for losing the election. Despite her losing the Electoral College, she won the popular vote anyway, so what real difference would it make in a lot of these cases? And it's just like a scapegoat they want to use because their candidate wasn't good enough to win the election the traditional way and everything. So I want to ask today, is there an excuse for people if a centrist Democrat is the nominee and someone like Bernie Sanders gets screwed again? Is there an argument to vote third party or just not vote at all? Now, the US has been dominated by a two-party system, but in the 90s there were actually two elections where a third party candidate did well. And sorry if I forget the order, but Ross Perot and Ralph Nader helped Bill Clinton win because they took a lot of votes away from Republicans and they made the election really close. I think Bill Clinton was one of the last presidents to not win a majority vote and still become president and everything. So a third party candidate can do quite well, but I think what happened is this woke both the Democrats and Republicans up to, they don't want to lose their power, so we've got to get rid of these third party candidates, we've got to lock it down more and let's make this less viable, because someone like Ross Perot or Ralph Nader could have maybe won because they got such a significant chunk of the vote. So essentially since Bill Clinton it's been you only pick Democrat or Republican and that's the only choice you have. And obviously I come from the UK and we have many different parties in Parliament from across the UK. We have the Scottish National Party, we have the DUP from Northern Ireland, we have Plaid Cymru from Wales, we have the Tories, Conservatives, and we have the Labour Party, and we have the Liberal Democrats, and we have the Green Party, and we have UKIP, who don't have many seats, but they're still quite popular, and we have lots of other ones in Parliament and stuff, and it's very, very different. And of course, Labour and Conservatives dominate, but at the same time, it's nice to have a couple options. But in the US, it's like Democrats, who are a broad coalition of right-wingers, centrists and left-wingers, and the Republicans, who essentially seem united at the moment in being far-right. But essentially, because the Democrats are controlled by right-wingers and centrists, your only choice is centre-right or right-wing. You've got no other choice. So I think there is an argument to vote third party, to vote Green, to vote for a third-party candidate, whoever's running this time. And I know people say there's a lot at stake with Trump, but if you have Joe Biden versus Trump, one's only a tiny bit better, but to a lot of people, it's not going to make a difference to anyone. What is Joe Biden going to do for a lot of people? He is basically old school Republican. That is essentially what he is. So how is that going to help a lot of working people and stuff? He goes to all these CEOs of tech companies and just these massive donors. That's the first stop he makes when he announces his candidacy for president. It's not going to all these unions and going to the working class people. I saw a picture of Bernie sitting with a load of school kids the other day. He's an extremely busy person, but he's sitting with people who won't be able to vote in his lifetime and taking their questions on things like climate change. That's the sign of a real leader and someone who really cares. Not Joe Biden going to the CEO of Comcast to get some money and stuff. So if it comes down to it and the centrists win and you have Beto, Pete or Biden, I don't blame anyone in America for voting third party. And I wish there would be a bigger movement to vote third party because, if not now, when? Because if Trump and Biden are the two candidates going at it, right, there is really no other options for loads of people. If you're left-wing or centre-left, who are you meant to vote for? Who's meant to appeal to you? You've got two right-wingers running for president. What is the other option? You've got to make your own option, and it might have to start now at a time when the country is so divided and looking for something different. It's actually a massive pity to me that Bernie Sanders isn't running as an independent, because whether he would win or not, he would galvanise such a movement and he would get a significant portion of the vote because he's so popular and everyone recognises him anyway. And I wish he would do that, and maybe there's a chance he could break the two-party system, because the Democrats might screw him out of the nomination again anyway. And you have the delegates and everything and the super delegates, which makes their primary less democratic than the Republican Party. And obviously the Republicans don't love democracy because they gerrymander and they make sure as little people as possible can vote because they know if everyone voted in America, they would never win. But even their primary is more democratic. That's how they got someone like Trump in the first place. They didn't want Trump to become the nominee. Because it was a democratic process, they got Trump. And because the DNC and stuff, that isn't a democratic process, they got Hillary Clinton instead because she was the anointed candidate. They're saying that she was going to be the next president since about 2012 and stuff, when she left the Obama administration. What are the options for a lot of people? And that's why I wish there was a stronger third party candidate. Jill Stein, I don't know if she's running this year, or Gary Johnson last time and stuff, they're not strong candidates, and obviously they get squashed by the mainstream media, who don't want to upset the balance of Democrats and Republicans, who we all know a lot of the time work together to screw over the American people and work for corporations. Like, how many Democrats keep voting for Trump's military budgets? Why is there no anti-war voice? Why is it all just war, war, war? Both parties, non-stop war forever, essentially. Since the turn of this century, that's all both parties have been voting for. And if someone wants to be against war, they got no one to vote for, and you're telling them you must vote for the centrist, right-wing nominee we're going to put forward, whether that's Hillary Clinton or maybe Joe Biden this time. You got to vote for them because you got to vote against Trump. And to a lot of people, it's like, what is the difference, really? Trump is horrible, but he just exposes how bad this country is to a lot of people and woke a lot of people up. Whereas Democrats like Hillary Clinton, Obama, Bill Clinton, and potentially Joe Biden just sedate people into thinking it's okay because they put like a shiny, face in it, and they give these speeches about how great America is and stuff when it's fundamentally broken. So I don't agree with the logic that you have to vote anyone to beat Trump. If you can't reconcile it with yourself, I don't blame you for not voting for them. So for example, Joe Biden. So Joe Biden has pushed for numerous racist policies. He helped create the Patriot Act. He voted for the Iraq War. He pushed against integration when he was in politics and stuff. This is how bad this candidate is. If you morally can't reconcile it with yourself, voting for someone like that, that's perfectly fine. Vote for someone else. Vote for third party. America's got this broken, corrupt two-party system. If you want to vote outside of that, it should be your right to vote outside of that. It shouldn't be people telling you, oh, but you must vote against Trump, you must vote against Trump. Make it less about a two-party oligarchy. Make the primary for the Democrats more democratic. Have a new party as well that represents genuine people on the left rather than just right-wingers, centre-right, right-wingers for the Democrats and then far-right for the Republicans. You need something else. You need another voice. So don't be surprised if Joe Biden gets the nomination and people do not want to vote for him. That's on you for rigging it for him, and it's on you for not giving people a real option. Just some old guy who even pushed against integration. How can he even run for president? And not to say all this stuff with his, predatory antics as vice president. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me at The Cavernacle on both Twitter and Instagram. I also have a WordPress blog where I write about some of these issues, so check that out at The Cavernacle WordPress. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.